Blind Kaizo Race, Week 153, The Bridge Block Woods by Chond. I think. You've arrived at the Bridge Block Woods. You will race through 3 sections of these woods, each with a unique type of bridge block. That's compelling. It's compelling stuff. Okay. I'm not on Yoshi to start with. I can jump off immediately. All right, I'm seeing a path. I'm seeing a path. Just need to be better at it. Ooh, that's not good. This is very, very tiny. Los Angeles has a Wikipedia page. I had to look up some other promotional campaigns of Coca-Cola. A total of 22 articles. Wow. Only other game was the My Coke thing in 22, but it went inactive in 2007. I don't think I knew about that. Oh, in 2002, not 22. Yeah, there were some other weird ones. There was sort of a spiritual successor to the Lost Island of Atlanta, but it's unfortunately lost media. Like, I have seen nothing online to indicate that anyone has any piece of that still around. Which sucks, because I would love to play that. That's... I guess Pepsi Invaders, technically speaking, if we're talking advert gaming. Oh no, too low. That's one bob too many. Okay, I have to do one fewer bob. No, they used to like really kind of cool, weird interactive things as advert gaming. The one that I remember the most was, I guess it would have been 2007. 2008. Would have been 2008. Basically, Mountain Dew set a set of flash games to help you find like your inner Dew. Like to find the exact Mountain Dew that you'd want, and then that became a Mountain Dew they would later sell. And they did, which is why we have Voltage. Voltage was decided upon. Basically, it was like you needed to figure out what the right combination of like color, flavor, and like boost was. So like I think that one has ginseng in it. Which is something to do. At some point, I'll try to get out some of the candy stand stuff, because the candy stand stuff was really top-tier advert gaming. But it's just kind of sad that an awful lot of advert gaming is lost to time because of the demise of Flash. And that I love Flashpoint for what they're trying. Oh, there's a place to stand. But it's a terrible way to try to find things. Like, it's just not a good index. Not to say the other indexes that existed for Flash files were any good. And not to mention, of course, there is the issue of not everything was an SWF. So in the case of Candy Stand, and I respect them, I'm actually kind of amazed they got it to work. There was another plugin that was used for the mini golf thing. I don't remember what it was called. But you had to get that one in addition to normal Flash to be able to do anything. It is what it is, of course. Yeah, but it's weird. You think there'd be a resurgence in advert gaming thanks to the fact there's these nice captive platforms where you can easily sideload into a particular device a game. Unfortunately, I don't think this ever really took off for various reasons. That you'd have like these tiny mobile games and people just play them. Though they did try other weird things in the social media era. My personal favorite one was like unfriending people for a Whopper. Back when they had that absolutely insane marketing group handling Burger King. Like, Burger King had really weird advertising stuff for a while. Even before the King, there was Subservient Chicken, which was a website you could go to, and there was a man in a chicken suit, and you could type in anything you thought of, you could think of. Like, it looked like a webcam, and there was a guy in a chicken suit. You could type in anything you think of, and then he would do it. But if you tried to ask for something vulgar, he'd waggle his finger at you or something. Or if you asked him for something you didn't know, he'd just shrug. And the key thing here was one of those old school magician tricks. You just happen to have everything available. So they got a guy in a chicken suit and recorded all manner of random crap. Yeah, I don't need to grab the shell on the way down. That's silly. Tried to visit some old Flash games. Played some new ones you hadn't played before with Rough Alternative. Tried to play Gravity Falls mini golf Flash game that was super buggy. Oh man, mini golf. See, I love those little mini golf games. For more than a few years, I've said I would do mini golf day, and I haven't. And I really just need to sit down and do it. The problem, of course, is in order to get the Candy Stand Golf, I need to re-download Flashpoint, and I have to download the big version. I can't download the small version. It doesn't work that way. Which basically means I need to free up a ridiculous amount of hard drive space, or write it straight to one of the external drives I have. I have an external drive that was meant for backups for work at a company I no longer work for, so I can probably just use that one, to be completely honest. Like how the first time I got that right, and subsequently I have not been able to. But yeah, Ruffle doesn't implement a lot of late Flash stuff very well, but it does early Flash stuff fairly well. It understands, like, ActionScript 2. And Flash underwent a big change, moving from the original ActionScript to a later one. Basically, the later one is not that far away from what we know as relatively modern JavaScript. Like, it's not perfectly modern JavaScript. There's stuff that people miss. But modern circa, like, 2006 JavaScript. Well, progress was made. Mention of early escape games for the game website Hoodamath. A lot of escape games. I don't think I have. I need to re-look at an awful lot of tabs. There was a couple of tabs, like last Halloween, someone recommended to me, and I don't remember. I see math games. Is it really Hoodamath? It looks like math. Green mascot. I'm not... I see he's like a green mushroom or like a green piece of toast looking thing. Huh. On my list of random things to do today, or not today, but this week, is basically try to find a URL someone recommended to me during a Caverns of Blood stream. And I don't know where it went. And I'd be interested in checking it out again, but I don't remember where it was. But I have the ability to write SQL queries, and all that stuff is packed into a database, so I just have to find that message. Okay. Got the Master Sword. Nice. Lomondo. No. I don't know what a Lomondo is. I also sat down and extracted the graph. Wrote a quick little graph extractor for Caverns of Blood that I also want to apply to Castle Quest. I want to see exactly the breadth of that game. Current Caverns of Blood, the Haunted Internet House. Oh, really? Prop that open, too. Play the original Lomondo. Oh, that it is very like... In fact, that would explain one of the tabs here. I think I actually have this open twice now. Yeah, I do. You have a better memory for this than I do. I swear someone else... Actually, no, someone said it was Japanese, and that appears to be a Japanese website. So, that makes sense. I'm gonna have to give it a shot. But like I said, I'm mildly curious about URLs shared here over time, so I might just do that. Pull out any URLs I can find, just for the sake of it. One interesting thing I found while pulling out the graph of sites for Caverns of Blood is that on the very first page, there's a non-trivial amount of links that don't exist. Like, one, they go to pages that aren't there. I don't have them. I don't think anyone has them. And two, the links themselves are not big enough to be seen. So basically, it's an anchor tag with an image that doesn't exist. And I don't think it ever existed on any of the Caverns of Blood. So I went and checked, because I have a recording of playing it in 2020, back when the website was still up. And it didn't have any of those pictures there. I have some older recordings too, and I could check, but also didn't mesh with my my remembrance of how that website looked circa like 2000 flat, so. I like flying straight into it. That's my favorite part. Pretty puzzly. Interesting. Like I said, I may have to check it out. Might not be a bad thing to check out tomorrow, actually. Basically, assuming Tweed gets back to me, I'll be moderating his hack tomorrow night. And I can start a bit earlier than I usually do, because there's no D&D tomorrow, and I'm not planning on doing anything interesting. Like, I'm gonna go find dinner somewhere. I might get a burger or something. Like, it's not a very interesting day. Saturday, I'm busy. That should be fun. I'm gonna hang out with Fiskbit and do some stuff. Maybe I'll fix my sleep schedule. Things everyone knows isn't going to happen for 100, by the way. But anyway, it was nice to actually do the Lost Island of Atlanta. That's been on my list of like random things I wanted to do on stream for forever. And I will say there were a few puzzles that I didn't really like. And there are a few where I had to have known the solution in advance because I had to like rebuild chunks of that website. Namely the door one and the slot machine one. But I think I'll probably go back and restore some more of the stuff, if I can, and just put that there on Bloody Castle. I'm not going to buy a whole domain for that. But having the cuneiform and the... Cuneiform? I don't know why I keep wanting to add an R to it. It's a crime against cruciverbalism. Did a big jump there. But yeah, maybe just prop that up as well as I can. Part of the problem, of course, is Archive.org only has so much stuff, and its stuff circa 1998 isn't great. They've gotten better, but like very deep websites has demonstrated they don't have all the stuff. Oh yeah, Oz for a while was hosted on Bloody Castle, or Bloody Caverns, as opposed to patcdo.net. Is I needed to not have to deal with HTTPS. That's entirely it. So I just SCP'd everything I had up there. It's quite simple because it's one directory. Or it's just a directory off of www. Technically speaking, you can access the entirety of Bloody caverns from my site if you know the URL, but it's not really worth the effort because you can just go to the top level of the URL in the other place. I don't know why I can't make that jump work. I'm thinking about how I'm handling this. I don't like how I'm handling the first jump. I need to clip that jump off the piranha plant is what I need to do. Or I need... No, hold on. The low bouncing was more consistent. Yeah, that gives me way more time. Okay. Just a rhythm thing there. Do. Okay. What? I don't know why that dragged me in there. Doing it the bad old way. I guess that's the reason I didn't do it that way, so sometimes I'd run into it, but like, honestly. Every time you get another shot, it means chance for more consistency. Well, okay, maybe not that. Anyway. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to try playing was this game called Haribo's Quest Adventure. I forget the exact title. But basically, it's a Haribo gummy bear adventure game. But for whatever reason, I just could not get audio working. But also, despite the fact that it says it released for Windows and has Windows executables, none of those do anything. So, like, the Windows executables exist basically to run batch files. I don't know why they bothered. And it's packaged with, like, an ancient Sound Blaster or sound driver thing. And the most hilarious thing is the way they actually use it. So, like, the sound driver picker, you go in and you try to auto-detect. It's like, we can't find a sound device. Like, okay, so you pick one. It's like, okay, we're going to test it by playing 2 sounds. And it plays 2 sounds. And, okay, it either works or it doesn't. That's how it goes. And after that, their batch file goes and after that program exits, it copies the sound driver into the lower directory. It's just a very odd way of doing that. Like, sure, symlinks weren't really a thing in Windows 98, but like the whole change directory batch file, like you didn't just use an INI file to tell you which sound driver you wanted to use. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what Sierra did. They more or less had INI files that said, use this particular sound driver. Of course, that's the thing about older DOS games, is like they ship with like 50 sound drivers. Reason being is that every game had to bring its own sound driver, effectively. They weren't really a universal thing until much later. Same with printer drivers, bizarrely enough. I'm gonna try GitHub Copilot versus VS Code in VS Code. Good luck. Enjoy your vibe coding, I guess. Getting really good at running into that. At least I'm getting... Oh, whoops. That was garbage. Actually need to check it in? Okay. Okay. Progress. You need to serve Jason faster from this device. Interesting. How much faster? Typically, serve fast and Jason usually don't go together. Like, I once did a bunch of stuff to optimize JSON parsing by, like, actually getting into the nitty-gritty and getting involved in the parsing so that we could move things along as we were shifting tokens. Because basically, once we successfully shifted a set of tokens correctly, we could immediately send that off to a work queue to be processed. It did, in fact, speed up the ingestion of that thing that ran, like, once every day or so. At least 1 FPS, or 1 request per second. I would hope that even a normal JSON library could sustain that. 1 request per second isn't very much. Like, it's kind of weird to think about it, right? But, like, Google used to be run off of, like, 4 computers. Like, it wasn't that much. Doing simple requests shouldn't require a lot of things unless you put more abstraction between you and that. Hell, sites like Slashdot and, like, Neopets and things back in the day didn't have any, like, wacky microservice things. Oh, okay, that makes sense then. If it's embedded, that's a fair point. Embedded changes the rules here. I was just like, man, if 1 request per second is what you're trying to get out of your, like, AWS instance, what are we even doing here? Put a Docker container in your Docker container, on your Docker container, so you can Docker container while you Docker container, in a Docker container, on a container ship. Built of Docker containers. Can you guess what technology I don't like? I find that all of the containerization just makes things painful for everyone who's not a sysadmin. Like, I really just don't want to deal with friggin' Kubernetes. I don't want to deal with the friggin' whale-looking program, whatever that one's called. I just want to run some code, bro. In a way, I've become more of a... I still hate PHP, but I'm fully willing to acknowledge that PHP has this wonderful aspect of just effing going. You write some HTML, you write some friggin' queries. You know, that almost worked. And it goes off to the races. It makes a web page. There are web pages that have been and were served by just PHP and a small SQL or MySQL server off the side, or on the same machine. And they could handle a certain amount of throughput. Does remind me, I finally got around to adding a robots.txt to exclude an awful lot of bad crawlers. Namely just the AI ones, because why? My website doesn't have anything useful for AI people at all. And moreover, I don't really want to help them. Last time I played with an AI, I actually asked it to give me a walkthrough for Caverns of Blood, and it was hilarious how much it would hallucinate. Like, it figured out it was a website, but then it didn't know what to do after that. And so it would be like, I'm looking on game FAQs. I think I tried this in ChatGPT, but I didn't pay money for it, so I don't know. Maybe it was on one of the dumber versions. But I think I'm just a Neo-Luddite. I'm not enamored with the AI of the future. Maybe I'll just be a stone chipper. Sometimes I can't get that. What if 3 low bounces is better? Seen the pipe. I know it's I know it's plausible. Okay. That was a much better setup jump, and that wasn't. Just make me hungry. Oh, I got Thai food today. Got some pad ki mao. It's pretty decent. Felt like going spicy, I hadn't gone spicy in a while. And I really do enjoy spice when eating it. I don't enjoy it so much afterwards. But it was pretty tasty. That was free. That was completely free. I also don't know if that's a pipe that takes you to the next section, or a pipe that, like, just fast pipes you somewhere. Given this is a 4 and it's by Chon, I'm gonna guess the latter. Nuh-uh. Spice isn't tasty, or not about the pipe? You may need to be more specific. Basically sending a JSON file, JSON list of thermal values and mapping them roughly to pixels. Oh, fun. I don't know why I can't get my key jump to work. Like, I've got semi-consistency up to here. There we go. It is a new section. Well, it does sound like fun. I assume you're doing some sort of... I don't know. It sounds like an imaging project. I guess thermal imaging project, clearly based upon the 2 parameters you've provided me. What? What? Yes, lol. I knew it! Why Jason? Like, you're gonna be sending an array of numbers. Why not do some bit packing? You know the ranges, presumably. Like, if you're talking for TCP, you could even guarantee you're expecting a certain number of things to come by. Like, you'd be able to do it a lot faster and deserialize it quicker than JSON. But I don't know what kind of ranges you're looking at. Maybe it would make more sense. What am I trying to accomplish here? Oh, that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. It was already set up that way and it's an easy interface. Ah. I was thinking if speed is of the essence, then you would be better off with a more custom job. Because, like, you know the size, you know the range. Assuming it's a bunch of bytes, you could easily just say, well, one side just reads this many bytes, other side sends this many bytes, call it a day. JSON is frequently overkill for basic data transfer. I love JSON because really what JSON replaced wasn't so much... wasn't really so much like custom binary protocols or like formats. It replaced a lot of XML soup. Having had to deal with XML soup in its various forms, including WebDAV and SOAP, which is amusing now that I think about it, since I was saying soup earlier. Dagnabbit. Receiving it more flexible? That's true. It's one of those trade-off things, I suppose. Like I said, it's a trade-off. If speed was my only concern, I'd definitely be doing more bit bashing. Ah. Still can't get over how this thing looks like Alf. It's just what it looks like to me. The thing is, I've never actually watched Happy Tree Friends, so I don't actually know anything about it. I did get the pipe. How you doing, Dick Feynman? Thank you for the H. Look, we got enough done today that even if I fail the Romhack Races level, I'm going to be happy that I beat the Lost Island of Alana mostly legitimately. Especially that last flippin' puzzle. I think I did look at a walkthrough a couple times. I mean no. There were a couple of things I needed to extract from the walkthrough page that were old parts of the old website. And then there was also an instance where I'm like, why isn't this puzzle ending? It's clearly supposed to end after I do this thing. And it's like, oh yeah, you also need to go click on the bridge after this. I was doing that thing. Take a quick handbrake while I rotate through and get it to resync. You can change a WebSocket, though. I mean, WebSocket comes with its own overhead stuff, but you could do it. I like WebSockets in general as a way of moving stuff around. Not bad, just started Nightmare Cafe. Oh, nice. Not gonna lie, that was something I was considering, too. Last Persona, their first two were nice. I've played one of those to completion, but I don't remember which. I'd have to look it up. The thing that I don't like is I know that one of them has a double shell jump, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And I don't want to reach halfway point and then have to, like, grind it into a double shell jump. Gotta go, like, find Defy by Default's old tutorial and find out about that. Which would be weird, because, like, Defy by Default is now built like a friggin' brick shithouse. Compared to what he looked like when he recorded that tutorial. That's tricky. Yeah, I think it was like Nightmare Cafe 7 or something. Fun fact, Lush is the reason we have a rule about having too many hacks in moderation at a time. Used to be you could throw in as many as you wanted at the same time, but Lush kept doing like these barrages of updates to every single Nightmare Cafe. And we're like, no, you can't just do that. Nightmare Cafe was harder than... one was harder than 2. That had the double shell jump? Okay. Well, maybe I'll go play 2 one of these days. Currently, my plan, Mario-wise, after this, is to play the, hopefully Tweed's new hack tomorrow. He wanted me to moderate it. And by that, I think I volunteered, I don't remember. It's a good fit. It's a puzzle hack. I like puzzles. We'll see how it goes. Misread it. Gonna add a WS endpoint and keep the JSON. So was it previously like an HTTP request on the endpoint? Is that how that was working? Oh. Ah, okay. Yeah, that might just get you most of the way there. Because, like, you will be able to do a lot better than 1 request per second with a WebSocket over the doing HTTP stuff, assuming you're not using like HTTP2 pipelining features and all of that nonsense. None of which I've ever used, knowledgeably at least. There was a website a while ago. It was like, why is HTML2 better? Or why was HTTPS better? Ow. Than HTTP? And be like, it has speed benefits. I'm like, oh really? That's interesting. You'd think that putting a secure socket layer in front of it would slow it down. It's like, yeah, we could use all of these new HTTP2 features that aren't available without using SSL. I'm like, but if you just made those features accessible, it would be just as fast. And it was like, HTTPS. It's been great from a security point of view, but it does make me miss the old web and the ability to do things. Like, you could just write a web server, you could just write an HTTP client. Okay, that's it near the end. Cool. And now if you want to do those things with any reasonable amount of effort, you really do need to have SSL in front of it. And you're not going to write, as an amateur, you're not going to write SSL. Frankly speaking, there's only like 5 implementations of that stuff anyway. So what you're going to do is use some library that sits in front and handles it for you, and that's just not as much fun as writing from scratch. It's one of the reasons I don't like Gemini. I thought Gemini would be really cool when I first read about it, and then I looked and I'm like, why is this required? Like, you don't even have posts. Like, it's based off of Gopher. It doesn't make sense that you need HTTPS everywhere. Or at least the S everywhere. I don't know what I was doing there. I need to just run into the wall and write it up is what I need to do. And then turn back. But I have beefs with most modern technology these days, so... Like I said, at some point I'm just gonna go, like, buy a cabin in the woods and live there. Somewhat inevitable. Maybe I'll move to, like, some random third world country and get lost somewhere. Raise chickens. Chickens are delicious. There we go. Like, once I saw that ending, I knew how it was going to end. It was just a matter of doing. This particular critter might make it difficult to see the background. Okay, a little bit later. Against the background. I misread that entirely, and it didn't even matter. Yeah, I love WebSockets. WebSockets are fun. Basically, all of the stuff that powers all of my things is built off of a single WebSocket bus, which was originally designed exclusively for the purposes of playing the Mario RPG randomizer. I wanted to have the tracker working on this machine that handles the streaming, while I could also click the buttons on another computer. And so I went and rigged that all up. And the code's still around there, but it's not really compatible with any of the newer stuff, and so it has problems. How? But because the other newer stuff is pretty much happy to keep trucking, it doesn't cause any problems. That jump, there's got to be something I'm missing about that. There's no way it's just like a... Maybe that is actually what it is. God. Like, what is the... Oh, I see it now, I see it now, I see it now. Yeah, that's it. I just need to be a little bit later. Progress. I was like, I don't think that jump is possible. You got a fake WebSocket binary stream over HTTP. Your guest says co-pilot. All right, good luck. That doesn't sound right to me, but sounds a lot like HTTPS pipelining, to be honest, or HTTP pipelining, which is to be a big deal. As part of making, like, going and getting the graph for Caverns of Blood, I needed to extract a interesting little thing, the meta refresh information. Because meta refresh was a way of doing some, like, fun polling stuff back in the early days of Netscape. I can probably do a spin jump there if I want to. What I didn't realize is you could set meta refresh as both a tag in the HTML. So, like, you would put it in the head, you'd have meta refresh, and then tell it where to refresh to and after how many seconds you want it to do this. It's a simple thing. Or you could do it as a header. Didn't realize that. Because I knew about the HTML tag, but I did not know about the header. Said Mario RPG and looked it up, and you kind of want to play it now. We usually rely on walkthroughs. You do not need a walkthrough for Mario RPG. Mario RPG is one of the hand-holdingest RPGs of all time. There are some puzzle bosses that are a little tricky, but, like, you do not need a walkthrough. Like, I wouldn't beat Mario RPG. There's a Switch remake that was made recently-ish. And I went and played through that on stream a while ago. And it was good. I mean, I didn't like how they changed a few things. Frog Fuchsius became Frog Sage. I had no idea why they needed to make that change. The rematches are okay. I like that they're there. But yeah, otherwise I think the Super Nintendo one does pretty well. Oh, you might need a walkthrough for those. Yeah, there was only one boss that really gave me trouble in the remake, and there were two that gave me trouble. One, a walkthrough wouldn't have helped with, because one is basically just get good to fight. And the other one was Booster. Booster is just weird no matter what form he takes. Otherwise, I remember the boss fights not being terribly difficult if you just took it your time and thought it out. Gotta go faster. Only beat the remake, but I'd use walkthroughs to keep progressing. Grinded to high level during the Toad Village. It gets invaded with Shy Guys until you get to max level easily. Took like an hour. Yeah, absolutely no problem after that. I mean, the thing about most of the bosses in RPGs, they have a puzzly aspect to them. And if you understand either the pattern that they're going for or, like, what the deal is, they're generally pretty easy. And the remake made things easier because you can now block some magic attacks you couldn't block in the original. Which is important. Like, the original, you could block some physical attacks, like Jinx's, let's say Jinx's Quicksilver was blockable, but, like, Flame wasn't. And they introduced the idea of blockable magic attacks, which was fun. Like, that is an aspect of what they did. It was too slow. Some hidden passages didn't know they were super helpful. Fair enough. There are some, like, weird out-of-the-way boxes and things that if you don't get them. And I will say the remake was nice to remove the one box. If you know, you know. Which I think was funny. But in the original, there was a box you could get only at one point in time in the entire game. And if you missed it, you missed it. It was one of the hidden chests. And so if you have the signal ring, you'll go nuts at the end of the game trying to find that last chest. And of course, you can't get it. Which is funny. And mean, so they got rid of it for the remake. They added a way to get over there. I forget what particular thing they did to mitigate it, but it was good. It was a good choice. I keep clipping my jumps there because I know I need to get on that block earlier, but then I mess it up. Oops. spin jump onto the block. That might help. But yeah, Mario RPG, it's good. Highly do recommend. I had fun playing it on stream. Because I do like to, at least try to do voices. I'm not, by any accounts, a good voice actor or anything, but I like to try. And I decided that Booster, instead of being an irritating man-child, should just be, the most erudite guy ever. Really, I was thinking, Pegasus. Because Pegasus is both, ridiculously, high class, but also a complete man-child. Maximilian Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Who I think is the most hilarious character. Gonna leave for work now. Good luck there. Oh, thanks. Well, good luck at work. Hopefully it goes well. There we go. I feel optimistic. Again, I think just Sean's general design ethos means not terribly long sections. Pegasus is great. Oh, he's so good. Love the bit where he literally just Excel Saga's Bandit Keith. Dang it. Just all of the bonkers things he does. Oh yes, I love cartoons, and so I'm going to make every card a cartoon. But only for me, because I love cartoons so very much. Okay, cartoons didn't cut it. Let's bring out the Elder Tor. God, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a trip. Ah. And there was that bit where Pegasus was like, no one can photograph these ancient Egyptian god cards well enough. I have to paint them. And he paints them too good, and they come to life and, threaten his soul. Again, ridiculously high-class dude. He's great at painting. Of course he is. Why not? I forgot how long Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. The original series is 200 episodes and change or something bonkers like that. Huh? Oh. That's the first time I saw that pipe. I know what to do, I think. I'm gonna mess it up 4 times before I get it, but I understand I have an understanding of the entirety of this level. Yugi boy. Gonna be honest, that dub was not that bad, except for some of the 4Kids-isms. There were a few of those where they changed them, and I think that was worse than going to the Shadow Realm. There was one where, Yugi's fighting a magician, and in the original, it was oh no, if you lose the Shadow game, you're gonna go to the Shadow Realm. And in the 4Kids version, it's, oh no, if you lose your game, this buzzsaw's gonna cut your legs off! Which, I'm gonna be honest, neither are good prizes. But people come back from the Shadow Realm occasionally. You don't get to reattach your legs when they're cut off with a chainsaw. At least not if you're playing children's card games that are way too busy to actually get your legs reattached. There's another one that was bonkers like that. I think it was Shadow Game for Shadow Realm, or you'll drop through the light, this skylight. Which, again, you're gonna fall to your death and be lacerated by all of the friggin' glass. Both of these are bad prizes. Somehow 4Kids thought that it was less bad to go to the Shadow Realm, or get cut up by glass, than to go to the Shadow Realm. Really? Just something wrong about that line of thinking in my book. No, I should just go for that. I need to do like one low bounce on one of the two pokies. But it does depend slightly upon when I get into that, when I spawn the object. Okay. Mistake number 1. I said I would mess up that ending at least 4 times. I'm curious if it actually holds. I'm not counting more mistakes here, obviously, because I don't care about these mistakes. Oh, never mind. Got it on 2. Oh, no. Okay, well, that counts as 2 mistakes, messing up the ending, even though that wasn't strictly the ending. I hate it when that happens. Oh, man, I hate it when I'm right. Busts in my room and he grabs my lucky snorkel and I'm like, hey man, you can't take that. That snorkel's been just like a snorkel to me. And I'm like, give it. And he's like, make me. So I'm like, okay. So I grab his leg and he rips off my eyebrow and I gave him a colonic irrigation. Oh, you better believe it. There we go. Opportunity 3 to screw this up. Nope, only 2. That's not bad. How'd I do? Let's see, 225-ish. So, basically a little less than an hour. And how did that compare? I'd say 50 minutes. Puts me about the same as Endless Ascent. That's not bad. That's not bad. Of course, Mason eviscerated this in 5 minutes. And so did an awful lot of Louis in 10. Germdove in 15. Some of these names I don't recognize anymore. Less Than Possum. Muzzle I recognize. I think Muzzle's changed their name. Nathan, 13 minutes, 13 seconds. No, not bad. Alright, let's see. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're awesome and deserve a tasty snack after that. I am kind of hungry. Sprite, Russian Man. Music, Lost by Radical Dog. It's a very lost song. But why? Is there a secret here? Oh, I guess not. Kind of weird. Thanks to GG, Dick Feynman. That was a fun level. It lived up to its name. It gave me accordions. It was very accordingly. Exactly what I expected. Yeah, it was good.